Waking up early again to work that 12-hour shift just to barely break even? Well, you're definitely not alone. Over the last 35 years, wages of vast majority have lagged far behind economy-wide productivity. This failure of wages to grow and rising wage inequality is primary explanation for the rise of family inequality. Over the past generations, not only does deregulation affect our banking and accounts, taxes, Wall Street, and big banking corporations have major influence over our taxes. They have power over deregulation and privatization. Deregulation is the active process of removing restrictions and regulations. Privatization is when a very regulated private corporation becomes less regulated. Not a good thing. What does this mean? What does this all have to do with us? Well, let me show you. Well, let's start with you work at a banking company. So, you work at this bank. You make $20,000 a year, okay? But you live in a very high tax area. So, you rent a really tiny apartment. So, very tiny. There's you. Tiny apartment. But you still have bills. You have 2 kids to feed, a car payment, medical insurance, and you can't afford, and you can't even afford to break even. And you're very, very far behind. Living from check to check. But your company, who has billions of dollars, this is your company, will not give you a single penny in extra wages because they have more influence on their own rules, regulations, not to mention more and more to spend on lobbying for their own privatization. It comes right down to rights, and I believe that we need deregulation. We need accountability for individuals, whether it be through deregulating banks and businesses, are to have priorities for transparency in our government. So we as citizens can see what is going on in our own government, in our taxes, lobbying, to be open for minimum wage for everyone. Peace. I think that's a peace sign. These corporations of our government need to build a framework for fair policies that will execute our future regulated businesses. Thank you. Hopefully you understand. Regulation is now.